Hello, and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video with me, Elven Dragon, here in FTB Skies 2 on Shadowlands SMP. So last episode we went and crafted up 3 of the pieces that we need to complete the FTB Pyramid, and going through the rest of the stuff, and it looks like we pretty much have about 2 main mods left to finish the bottom of the pyramid. One of which is Malum, because we need to progress farther into that in order to get the recipe for one of the pieces, and the other is Oritech, which looks like it's going to be a nice rabbit hole of mechanical setup and figuring stuff out. And I think we're going to dive into that because that looks like it's going to be useful for a lot more of the pieces, and I kind of want to get that set up. It looks kind of fun. But since last time, we've kind of just been working on decorating up the island a little bit. We've gone through and put in a bunch of otherworld trees and mineral trees all through the island, and I really like it. Normally I do some sort of custom trees, but I think just having these normal trees in here will work just fine. I think it's a nice mix of colors, and it does kind of give a nice little otherworldly feel to our little island. So I've got one section over here that I've kind of marked out for Oritech, which is this big section over here. Get the feeling this mod's going to take a decent amount of space, and I wanted to keep it kind of close to where our power generation is, so we don't have to run power cords all that far. So if we take a look in our quest book here, looks like our first place to start is with nickel, which we should have nickel, and we are going to need a lot of stuff here. So after that, it looks like we're going to need some magnetic coils and motors. Might want to make those on a crafting thing if that's going to be used a lot. Yeah. Okay. We're going to need the foundry. Centrifuge also takes motors, so yeah, we're definitely going to have to probably set those up on auto crafting. So I'm going to go through and get those. So I'm going to go get that set up and see what else we need on here, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I've gotten 3 machines here that I think should be good. So we have a foundry, and it said that we needed machine cores, and then click on the thing. That's kind of cool and very fancy. I was not expecting full animations for creating these things. So we'll go ahead and get that, get our centrifuge up and running. So we're going to need that, it looks like. And pulverizer doesn't look like it's got anything that we need to do for it. So now we just have to get these things connected up to power. Would have planned a little better. We might have actually had some power going here, but oh well. And that should be good. Now we need our foundry here for a few different alloys. Looks like we can make them other ways, but this is definitely the cheapest. So we need diamond and a nickel ingot in there first. And then we'll need a platinum and a netherite ingot once we actually get some platinum. But I've mostly just been trying to get some of the stuff here set up and ready to go. And all in all, this is going a lot smoother than I was expecting it to. This is definitely looking like a pretty interesting mod so far. But if we just connect this in here, that should power all of our machines so far. And we can go back and grab our new alloy. That gets us an adamant ingot, which we need for our assembler, and we just need to go from there. If I'm not mistaken, the assembler is going to be one of our more important machines that we put in here in terms of crafting up more stuff. So I've pretty much marked everything out to get to the particle accelerator in our book. So we should just be able to follow this, and that should get us everything. Now, there's a few different things that we're going to need. We need an enderic compound, which needs our centrifuge. Looks like if we use the pulverizer, though, we can use an ender pearl to get 8 of those. We need the enderic compound for strange matter, which we need for our dissolve potential, which we have everything for this. So once we get that, we'll be able to do that part, for which it looks like we need a little refinery, which looks like it might be a little bit of work to get. But we have plenty of other Oritech stuff to work on. We do need to get that assembler up and running, I believe. I'm willing to bet we need that to craft up the refinery. So it looks like, yeah, there's 2 things here. Portable tank doesn't look too bad. Should be able to get that pretty easily. But the other parts there, I think we're going to need this assembler for. So it looks like we need a couple crafters, which shouldn't be too bad. Easily get that. And go from there. But I believe we need that to craft some of the other pyramid pieces. Or at least to craft the things that we need to craft the pyramid pieces. So that'll help quite a bit. I don't quite remember. There's a lot of different Oritech stuff that is scattered all through here. And it's going to take quite a while to get everything set up. I know we need the flux gate, which, yeah, that's one thing that we need the assembler for. But other than that, I'm not too sure. So we've got the assembler. So I want to take a little bit more look at what we need for the refinery. Looks like we need these, which takes these support things, which calls for carbon fiber rods. So it looks like we'll have to get a few of those. And what do we need to make that? So it looks like that's just coal dust in the centrifuge. So we should be able to get that pretty easily. So we can just crush that down fairly easily. Get a few ender pearls. Go and stick in the crusher. But there we go. Go ahead and brush that up. We haven't upgraded anything. Oh, I did go ahead and get a full set of things here so we can automatically craft circuit boards from Mechanism, just because I figured that that would be really helpful. And it takes quite a while, and I don't want to have to keep running back and forth between our storage and the infuser in order to get those. So it's like our assembler here is just like our little foundry. So let's go ahead and put that in place. That built up. There we go. That gets us our assembler. I really like these assembling animations. So let's go toss our ender pearls into there. Toss our coal dust into the centrifuge. And there we go. We should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and get a few things here. It looks like we need another adamant ingot in order to get our next thing, which is this enderic lens. Or the enderic laser. Which shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, we can easily go get this. Alright. Well, I'm going to go get the rest of the pieces for the refinery. Get that enderic laser. And then I'll be right back. Alright, so I've gotten down a little bit of rearranging of our little area here. Mostly to get our factory blocks here on the underside so we actually have a floor. But we have everything for the refinery and the enderic laser. Apparently we need this target designator for that. So let's go ahead and click on that. Okay, so that's what that does. Let's go and patch up the floor, and apparently we can't because it keeps mining it out. We'll probably have to figure out some way to disable that. If we even can, I don't know. That gives us a targeting, but I don't know how we can turn off the targeting. But our refinery built, that means we can go ahead and put in our lava. Looks like we just have to do that and just click on there. And we need 5 buckets of this because each one of our enderic compounds only makes 200 of the stuff that we want each time. Wait, we don't actually have 3 things here. So I don't know what we need to do. Our machine quality is 2, so that tells us how many add-ons we can add. I don't know how we unlock these extra tanks. And the stuff that we need only gets produced, it looks like, in tank 3. I don't think there's anything in our quest book. I didn't see anything on this in there. So I'll have to figure out how we're supposed to expand that. Alright, so a little bit of research later, and I'm pretty sure this is what we need. So if we go ahead and stick these on here, and then we can go ahead and build these out. Looks like we're going to need a few more blocks ultimately here. But if we do that, that should, if I'm not mistaken, unlock all of our tanks. And for some reason we got steam? Why do we have steam? And a lot of steam too. Okay, we may need to get a few of our basic fluid jars over here, because that should have produced a bunch of sulfuric acid and the strange matter. We'll figure out what's going on with that later. Another thing that we can do is we can go ahead and set up a atomic forge. Now, we would have had enough blocks to finish this, but we had to use a lot of them for the refinery tanks, and I apparently cannot count. So we'll have to get a couple more of those. But that will get us all of our basic machinery pretty much. So we just need to figure out what's going on with our refinery here and why it's not actually producing the stuff that we need it to produce. And actually, probably, I'm guessing we just need to drain it and then try again. But that'll get us our strange matter, which will get us one of our easier Oritech based pieces. I think we got stuff to get most of the rest of them, which just leaves us with the particle accelerator, which I've done a little looking into, and I definitely want to do a lot more research before we get too far into that. So I'm going to go ahead and try and at least get our strange matter that we need for the dissolve potential, get the rest of the stuff for our atomic forge, and hopefully get some stuff set up for some basic particle acceleration. Then I'll be right back. Alright, so we've got our bucket of strange matter here, and we've started working on getting a few things to get our particle accelerators. There's just one small problem. We can't actually get our particle accelerator because we need this reinforced carbon sheet, which calls for naphtha, which we could get. The easiest way would be to do some stuff with modern industrialization and get it that way. We could also do some refining and get some crude oil and everything else. Crude oil would probably be the easiest because we have an oily bee. We could just get that. But we don't have that set up quite yet. And ultimately, we're going to have to get into modern industrialization anyway. It'll be a lot more efficient to go through there and get the refinery for that, because we're probably going to need some stuff from refining oil from that, and we might be able to get a few more things and get two things at once. Now, I did go ahead and build up an area for putting in our accelerator underground because it is going to be huge from what I'm looking at. Fortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be as big as I originally thought, because the piece that calls for the thing that needs a lot of energy, which is this one, looks like there's a way we can get the bioneutral circuit without it if we go through modern industrialization. So that might be a little easier to do. But all in all, we can still get our strange matter bucket put in our machine here. Go ahead and get that if we don't have... There we go. So that'll just quickly craft up. All in all, I'm quite happy with how this has gone. And I'm slowly gathering up all of the stuff that we're going to need to make those particle accelerators, because we do need one. We have all the stuff to get the evolutionary arcanum, except for the particle accelerator. I did go ahead and finish up the last occultism ritual and get the stuff for this. But it does mean that we can't get our plutonium pellets here, because the way I was planning on getting our plutonium dust is using our accelerator here to get this. And unfortunately, we need the reinforced carbon sheet for the actual accelerator itself. So that part actually goes into the linear motor with this iron thruster. So we're going to need a few of these. And all in all, I think it'll be a little easier once we go through modern industrialization. We can actually even automate that almost fully. Well, kind of automate it the way I want to do it, which is using our AE2 system to calculate how much we're going to need to process for all that, which should make things a lot easier. But there we go. We have our dissolved potential now. Go ahead and stick that on our pyramid right here. And there we go. We got 4 pieces. We still have a lot more to go, but we're starting to get the infrastructure here that we need to get the rest of it. So I'm going to go and work on gathering the rest of the pieces that we're going to need for that particle accelerator and start getting kind of a rough thing kind of set up as best as I can. I'm going to end up doing that between episodes because that is a lot of hours that I need to make and a lot of fluxite. So with that, I think that is going to be about it for today. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more what is going on our little island here. And I will catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.